So, I've traveled far and wide with the Lenovo Legion Go. This is a gaming device, handheld gaming device, and if you're aware right now, there's plenty of them on the market. There's ROG Ally, there's Steam Deck, and all different new ones coming in every other month or every other day or whatever. But this is one of the most popular ones, and that's because it's one of the largest ones on the market at 8.8 inch of display, and it has a special USB as well, which is the fact that you can detach the controllers and use it as different formats of gaming and perhaps share your gaming experiences as well, which I have done on holiday as well, which is kind of interesting. I wish I had a clip from that experience because it just kind of came out of nowhere and we started gaming as a group, which is really nice. But without further ado though, before I get into this and talk about my experience with it, if this is your first time around here, please subscribe. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel, so your help will be deeply and greatly appreciated. But yeah, let's carry on with this. Starting with the design, it's very, very familiar in terms of the controls and the way they're laid out. So when it comes to the D-pad, when it comes to the joystick, the trackpad that's on there as well, all looks really nice and familiar. Not many gaming handhelds or handheld gaming devices have a trackpad on there as well, by the way. I think the ROG Ally doesn't have one on there, but the Steam Deck does. But it's helpful to have that there because sometimes it just helps with navigating the whole device, the interface itself. This is 8.8 inch display, like I said already. It's an IPS display, gives you up to 144 Hertz refresh rate as well. The resolution is 2560 by 1600. You have 500 nits of peak brightness. It's not an anti-reflective screen, which means when you're playing out in a sunlight or bright light situation, direct sunlight situation, you do get those reflections that come on there compared to the non-OLED Steam Deck, which has that nice matte finishing on the display, which means less reflection or it's less reflective. But yeah, you do get that reflection on here, especially, for example, when filming in here, the light is shining everywhere and you can just see all the reflections everywhere. It's not such a big deal, but it's something to bear in mind. It's something that I experienced that I didn't really appreciate that much taking this on the go. Elsewhere, this is running on up to AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme or Extreme Z1, whichever one it is. It's running on the powerful processor power. It's got built-in or integrated graphics card in there. It's a Radeon graphics card as well. We'll talk more about all that in a second, but you can probably see on the screen right now, I've run a PC Mark 10 benchmark score in there, which we'll talk about as well when we talk about the performance and whatnot. As well as the processor power, you can also get up to 16 gigabytes of RAM in here, which is LPDDR5, and up to 512 gigabytes of SSD. And I think when I pull it through benchmark, it was a Western Digital SSD in there. But it's super fast, very good for read and write speeds, loading up applications from the background and whatnot. It just works really well in terms of how smooth it is. This weighs around 854 grams. It measures at around 30 centimeters wide, and it's 4.1 centimeters thick as well. So what does that look like in comparison to some of the other devices? I put it next to the ROG Ally and my old Steam Deck, not the OLED version, and this is very big in comparison to those guys. You can sort of see it in terms of the size, and it feels weightier compared to those other ones. And this just feels very premium. It's not saying that the other ones didn't feel premium, but this feels premium with that a bit of weight that it's got there, which I don't mind at all. In fact, I think the USP for this is that large display and how it feels. And it's also the downside for this because if you're someone who's on the market for something that's portable that you can game on the go, this is probably not something that you want because it's kind of big. But at the same time, it's big enough that you want this because you get more screen real estate to start gaming on, and it's a lot more immersive with the size of the screen. So I think one of the opinions I had for it was like, actually, that USB is also perhaps a negative point for it, depending on who you ask. Elsewhere, you have two USB-C ports, one at the top here that you can see right now is charging through that one, and there's another one at the bottom as well. And all that means is it gives you the flexibility to place this in whichever way you want to place it. So when it's not on a stand like this, you can plug it in via the bottom and you can hold it in your hands. But when you got it on a stand like this, on the kickstand, you can plug it right at the top and you're good to go. You have your volume rocker at the top there. You got the illuminated joysticks and the power button as well, which looks pretty cool. It's nice and subtle. It's not very RGB lighting like the ROG Ally or Ali, whichever way you say it, for example. So I kind of like the stealth, subtle look that this has got going on, which is pretty cool. On the back, in case I haven't said already, you get that kickstand as well, which allows you to have it in this position that's in right now in front of us, or you can also go just a tad bit flatter as well. So it's pretty cool that they've done that, and you can also detach the controllers as well on either side, which I'll show you guys in a minute. One of the advantages of having this USB-C ports on there as well, and it's running on Windows 11, is you'll be able to attach this or connect this rather to an external display. So this is actually something that you can work on if you really want to. So you can do your Excel sheets, Word documents, your day-to-day stuff like a normal PC. So you can do that on here as well, just plug it into an external display. So that the fact that this is a bigger tablet, that could be an advantage in that sense because you can just place it on the side, have a display, and you're good to go. Removing the controller is very easy as well, at least after you've done it a couple of times. So the first time it might feel a bit cumbersome to try and take off, or a bit of a faff. But once you do it, it's literally very easy. There's a little button or toggle on the back here. You just press it and you just detach it. So that's one off. And it beeps as well to let you know when it's off or detached from the actual main tablet. And then we just take the second one off as well. Nice and easy. It just does it like that. So don't be afraid to kind of like wiggle it a little bit and it will come off and you're good to go. So this is where I mean with the kickstand now. So the kickstand on the back, you can easily just fold that back now. Now you have just a tablet on its own. I'm just going to unplug this for a second. Then you have the tablets on its own to do whatever you want to do. So you can then perhaps give the controllers to your friends, and you have one, they have one. You can play a game that involves two controllers, and that's pretty cool. It's kind of like the Nintendo Switch sort of esque kind of vibe. So you get two controllers that you can do stuff with. One of the cool things that's cool about the controller once you've detached it is the controller to the right. So the right side one has a thing called FPS mode. So there's a little toggle right on the bottom of it. And that toggle allows you to then switch to FPS mode. So if you're playing, as the name suggests, FPS games, you can do that. And you can also get a dock for this as well. So it becomes like a little joystick. So you can sort of like move around like so. So maybe if you're playing like a flight simulator or something, you'll be able to use this for that. And it'll give you a nice little gaming experience that's different. What's also nice about detaching the controller is the fact that you can then have this like a tablet like so. So if you rotate the screen, you can read a book on here, you can do whatever you want on here. And it's not a bad idea at all. I think I like what they've done there. Reattaching the controllers is also very easy. Just attach it back on, but also make sure you get like a little clicky feedback when you attach it back on, and the sound goes off as well to let you know that this is connected again. Otherwise, you might run into the accident, which I've done a couple of times, where it's not attached properly, and the whole thing just flies a little bit off the desk or my hands. So do bear that in mind. For the battery, you get a 49.2 watt-hour battery in there, and this will last you between 1.5 hours up to 2 hours, and then just a little bit over, depending on what settings you have, what game you're playing, and all that stuff. So if you're playing things on high settings, the battery is bound to last you maybe 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half maybe. But I think most people that are going to be gaming on this will end up plugging it in anyway, because that's what most gamers do. It's just that kind of thing. But if you do need to game on the go, you do get a bit of battery leeway there to still game for a short haul flight, for example. And then you can plug this into a power bank. If you have a power bank that's capable or powerful enough, you can also plug into that, but it just means you're carrying extra bulk with you. I think in terms of design with the bulk, the annoying thing for me is just the size of it, because it's bulky, especially when you then put it into its carry case. It's extra bulk that you need to put in your bag. It's almost like another extra carry-on luggage when flying. So that's just the qualms that I have when it comes to the design. But like I said at the start though, the design, that qualms there is also a benefit, because it's a lot more immersive in comparison to some of the competitors on the market. Having said that, you do get a 65 watts charger in the box, which means this will charge from 0 to 100% in around an hour. So again, it's kind of quick enough to still power this on and charge it very quickly. So now that we've got the design out of the way and some of the little quirks here and there out of the way, other things to mention is I do love the controllers. They feel really nice in terms of the travel on the keys. It feels very nice, especially when gaming. It's very nice to hold in hand, which is really good, especially when it comes to handheld gaming. That's very important. It must feel very good in hand to hold, especially if you're going to be gaming for a long period of time. Elsewhere, this gets warm sometimes, depends on what you're doing, and you start to hear the fan. In fact, right now the fan's going off, and I haven't done much on this so far today, and just powering it on and loading a couple of things, and you can hear the fan. Maybe I might bump the sound up to see if you can hear that, but you can hear the fan going off. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that it's doing its job to cool the system down so it doesn't get too hot. You don't really feel the temperature in hand because you're holding the controllers. If you were to be holding the tablets on its own by itself, then you must start to feel that temperature. The other thing worth mentioning is the software and the way that it's not that cohesive. So this is running Windows 11, so it's like a full PC operating system, etc. But you do get this layover on there, which is a Lenovo's own layover, which then allows you to access your gaming, your cloud gaming, your library, and buy new games and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it still kicks you out of this app to take into a different app, and the whole experience just didn't feel quite smooth, or the way that I would want it to be, or seamless rather. That's the word I'm looking for here. So that's one issue to worth mentioning for me. So you can see on there right now, so you can do different things. I see what games are available. You got cloud gaming options on there. You got game store, library settings, and Android games available to you on that. I guess this is Lenovo's way to kind of put everything in one place. It's easy to find when it comes to, hey, I just want a game. I just want to access my library. It's all there to quickly access and stuff like that. But I think most people that will be using this probably wouldn't even use this interface to get into it. They probably just select it themselves or whatever. But what I do like though is the settings options, because it just takes you to the nitty gritty, the important settings that you need to probably change or add or check or whatever. So for example, if we go into performance, this is important. This is where you can set different settings. So you have performance mode, power saving mode, and then you got some custom options as well. So you can see the fan option to thermal mode. So fan can be smart, thermal mode can be balanced depending on what you're doing. So that's power saving. If you go to performance mode though, the fan just goes off straight away. So it's got a bit louder now, so you can hear it, just to keep things cool. So you got 5 watt there, you can go all the way to 30 watts of performance. Fan speed is at full speed right now, and the TDP as well as 30 watts. So it's using the full power that this can use. So the operating system, the graphics, everything works in its at its full capacity, including that fan that's there. So I'm just gonna put that back to power saving so it goes quieter. But anyway, we go further down to network settings. So you can change your network settings. You got display settings as well. In display settings, this is where you can quickly change things like your refresh rate. So if you want to go 60 Hertz or all the way to 144 Hertz, you can select that. Obviously, that's also in Windows 11 settings. But like I said, it's good that they've actually put all that in here. So if you don't want to dig through Windows 11 operating system, you can quickly change all those settings using that Lenovo overlaid application. You also have audio settings on there as well, and the speaker's okay if you're not in a loud environment, so you can still hear what's going on. But the best thing to probably do is connect your Bluetooth headphones or get yourself a cabled headphone, whatever you want to do, just plug it in there. I think there's actually a 3.5mm headphone port here as well, so you can plug in a full-on gaming headset, plug it in, and you're in full gaming mode. You also get some controller settings as well, like customizing your button, checking out, changing the vibration level and all that stuff. So you can customize that if you wish to do so. The lighting effects can be customizable as well. So again, have a play with that. Select what you want to select. But I've just left it as a default from when I got this in. So it's just been like the way it is out of the box. So how's the gaming experience? Well, you can play Cyberpunk on here with ease. There's no issues at all. You can even change your settings and bump it up as well, bearing in mind that your battery gets affected. You can play games off your Xbox Cloud Gaming and stuff like that. You can play some Steam games that's available on there. So gaming array is no issues at all. That's one of the points of having the full-on Windows handheld gaming devices, is the option to play all these gaming libraries on the go in your hand. So there's no issues there at all. The thing to bear in mind here though is when it comes to the frame rates, you then have to start worrying about what resolution you play at. So having done the benchmark scores and stuff like that and tweaking some settings here and there, the best time or the best way to get those higher refresher rates is when you drop your resolution down to like 1080p. So when you game in full HD, you can go very high on the frame rate. But as soon as you start changing things to 140, the full resolution on here, that's when you start to see the frame rate get affected a little bit. So if you want that smooth gaming experience, that's what you need to do. Another thing is some of the games don't take a full advantage of that whole screen real estate, so that's a shame. But most of the games that I play, they take advantage of it, and that's no issues at all. I think some of the best unique selling point for me, like I said already, is the size, the fact that you can take the controllers off and it becomes a shareable experience with other people if you really need to do so, and connect with other people as well. Battery life is okay, could be better, but heck, some gaming PCs out there can't even last this long. So it's probably not that much of a bad thing. The memory or storage can be expanded using a micro SD card. So if you need more storage for more games, you can do exactly just that. And I think this is a great attempt from Lenovo at making a really good handheld gaming experience for gaming enthusiasts out there, or even beginners as well. Price point might be different for beginners. They might not want to pay that much for it, but for someone who's an enthusiast, you probably get one of these and that's it. It's not something you're not going to be buying all the handheld gaming devices out there. So you can invest in this one and be rest assured that you be covered in terms of all the gaming libraries, what you can do with it. I also like the built-in kickstand. I think that's such a great idea as well. As you can see, it's nicely balanced there right now. So if I was on a train right now, I can just flip it around and game on the go, that kind of stuff. You can take the controllers off and game and so on and so forth. But that's pretty much it. I think it's a great device. It's done really well so far for me, and I'm going to start to see go back to Lenovo because it's a loan device. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's something you'd buy, if it's, what you think of it, let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching. What games are you playing as well? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out. Like, share it, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.